Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Naeem Muhammad from Islamic Relief, Water Relief live stream and podcast. Wishing you a blessed day wherever you are around the world. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're tuning in now, especially around the U.S., or you're just checking on the news, you know, across the country right now, we're gripped with winter. Islamic Relief since December has been working to support families who are suffering winter and has been mostly overseas. But we know now, here at home, there's so many families and millions of people who are out of power or out of water and need our support. So we're going to talk about that today and how you can join this relief effort and what Islamic Relief is doing on the ground exactly now. So please join us and we'll watch this video now, and we'll bring on our esteemed guests as well. All right, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to our good brothers. To my left, I guess, my left, on your guys' right, brother Abdullah Shoki, and our good brother Azhar Aziz. Abdullah, can you introduce yourself, and then Azhar do the like, so the people, I mean, of course, the people have seen you on this show and on just IR, on live stream and stuff like that, but reintroduce yourselves to the people, inshallah, brother Abdullah Shoki.
Sure, absolutely. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Abdullah Shoki, and I am the Senior Disaster Management Specialist at Islamic Relief USA.
Excellent, excellent. And brother Azhar, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Azhar Aziz, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Alliances. It's such a pleasure to be with my dear brother Naeem on this program.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you guys both for being with us at a short notice, and because literally you guys are in ground zero, as many people have been seeing across the country. All eyes right now are on Texas and the South, who aren't normally having this type of weather. So, Abdullah, you being with the disaster response team, could you tell us a little bit more, like what the scene is like on the ground, inshallah?
Yeah. So I'm sure many of you who are on watching this and obviously have heard and seen things that have been going on in Texas on Facebook and on the news and whatnot. But we are literally in uncharted territory, unprecedented times. Like the state of Texas has been gripped by a severe winter storm since about Sunday, and people would always ask, well, does it snow in Texas? And yeah, we get snow sometimes. Usually it's like ice and things like that. And, the worst of it is usually just some frozen roads and, an inch or two and the city's kind of shut down. A lot of our northern friends kind of make fun of, the fact that we can't handle it. But this is something like no one has ever seen. We've seen temperatures all the way down into the single digits, and that's just regular temps. The wind chill, it could be. There was times when the wind chill was like -15. We've never had temperatures like that.
Wow.
We've never had a situation where the entire state actually has received some type of winter precipitation, whether it's snow or ice or anything like that. All the way down to the Gulf Coast, Galveston Island, which is just right south of Houston. They actually had snow right on the beach. That's never happened before. And so it's a very, very dangerous situation. With the cold temperatures and the precipitation, unfortunately, the infrastructure has really been tested and put on to the brink. You guys have all been hearing about the power outages and things like that we're going through. We have been feeling it. My family actually, we lost power a couple days ago at my apartment, and we were without power for about 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
The irony of it was the day before the storm, there was a call out in the Muslim community, to collect blankets because the city of Dallas was going to be opening a shelter for the homeless at the convention center. So my wife and I, we said, alhamdulillah, we're okay. We have everything we need. We got a place to stay, warmth, and all that stuff. We literally donated all of our extra blankets.
And ended up possibly needing them now.
We did. So like the next day, we lost power at like 6 p.m. and I was thinking it's one of these rolling blackouts. So I told my wife, "Don't worry about it. We're fine." She said, "Please, let's just go get some extra blankets just in case." We went to sleep that night. Woke up the next morning, and literally the power wasn't bad. The apartment was freezing. It was probably 40 degrees, if not less. And it was a testing situation, but alhamdulillah, we had friends and family to support us, and we were able to go elsewhere.
Okay.
Which really highlights the situation that many are facing. This storm is affecting everyone in the state, whether you're healthy or you're not. Everyone is being affected by this storm. The key difference is that those who have the means to take care of themselves or have the ability to go out and buy things that they need, or to, if they have a support network where they could go stay at a friend's house or a family member's house that does have power, that does have water, they have that option.
They usually make it out, yeah.
Yeah, many who don't. And so, we have been working, just for example, we've been working with one of our partners here in the area, Ma'roof, who is a refugee services organization.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working with families, refugee families right now that have been without power for anywhere from 2 to 3 days, and they've been without water for more than 24 hours.
Right. So that's one. So that's kind of the picture on the ground with like what individuals are seeing, and even some organizations. Azhar, from your side, I know you're there too. You're in Texas, living through this. For somebody who's on the community side, what are you seeing personally? And then maybe what is the community like when you've been talking to imams and other leaders? What are they telling you that with the calls that they're getting to their homes about need and stuff like that?
Thank you so much, Naeem. I have been living in Dallas for 26 years and have never seen such a harsh, severe weather ever in my life, all these years in Dallas, Texas. I want to say that I'm extremely, extremely proud of our community, especially our masajids and our other Islamic organizations. And we are extremely proud of the relationship and partnerships that we have with them. 8 to 10 major masajids in the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area opened up their facilities and made it into warming centers where people of all backgrounds, all faiths could come, could charge their phones, could take some rest, get some hot meals, relax for some time, pick up some basic essentials, and then go back. I'm extremely proud of masajids such as East Plano Islamic Center, which is one of the largest Islamic centers in the area, that created a hotline for the past few days where they are reaching out to the elderly population, making sure they have medicines and food and other basic supplies. We are living in a situation where there is no water. All the pipes are frozen. In the last 5 days in my own home, we had electricity for 6 to 8 hours every day. So we had power outages. And this is how majority of the residents over here are facing these kind of challenges.
Right.
I'm extremely proud of organizations and partners such as Texas Muslim Women Foundation, who are distributing blankets. My dear good friend Abdullah Shawki spoke about Ma'roof. Islamic Center of Irving is collaborating with the city of Irving and has opened up their facility as a warming center. They are doing this in partnership with several Muslim organizations that operates here in North Texas area. Something similar we are seeing in Frisco, in Richardson at the Dallas Central Mosque, which is the oldest mosque in the metropolitan area. And we are also witnessing many mosques who are facing big challenges because they have pipe bursts and the entire prayer facility is in water. So it's very heartbreaking to see those scenes on videos, on WhatsApp and social media. But I have to say that I'm extremely proud of the Muslim community for stepping up, and not only they are taking care of their own community but society at large. And this is our faith in action, and we are extremely, extremely grateful for the partnership. Islamic Relief is again taking the lead, providing all these Islamic centers and organizations that are working on the ground by providing them small grants and sponsorships and strengthening their hands to increase the support that they're providing to our community.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think, I mean, it might be my side. I know, like, we're starting to get choppy on the internet, and that's just, I mean, you guys are contacting us from the disaster area, and that's to be understandable, and we thank you for taking the time. And from both of you guys, like, the way the messages are running, I know, because you guys are in places where there are like either flooding is a normal situation, and are the way the communities are answering now by doing warming centers and stuff like that, has that always been the case, or is this new for some of them? They had to do these type of services?
Well, I remember when we had other disasters like hurricanes and the heavy rains. In the past, the Islamic centers have opened up their facility to assist the community at large. I know many mosques in the Greater Houston area, which are part of Islamic Society of Greater Houston, they have done this multiple times in the past. The Dallas-Fort Worth mosques have also played a very important role whenever there was a need. But this was the first time they have gone above and beyond to assist the community at large.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting so much of positive feedback, not only from our friends from the other faiths, from the community, from the interfaith community, but also many city officials are applauding the efforts of our masajids. Keep in mind, this is Texas, everything is huge. We have mega masjids that can accommodate hundreds of thousands of people at a time. And our masajids now have opened up their multi-purpose halls, their gymnasiums,
right,
and they are providing important services to our community.
Right. So, but Abdullah, has there been a need for warming centers to, like, I don't know, in your time, you guys living there, I know you're born and raised there, like, has the masjid had to open up, definitely I know as like the shelter from flooding and different things like that, but even specifically for this warming, so that's kind of telling us the changing nature of how we're responding in those regions these days, right?
Yeah, and that was something I was going to add to what Brother Azhar was saying, is that yes, the masajid have in the past been involved in disaster response, but never first off in a winter situation like this, and never in a situation where the disaster is so widespread. I mean, this thing is literally the entire state. In times when there was a hurricane or a flood or a tornado, it's very localized. You may have a city, maybe several counties that are affected, but there are other areas that are not affected, and then those communities can mobilize and respond to assist. Never seen a situation in all my years living here and all my years doing disaster work. Never seen a situation where the entire state of Texas has been affected in such a widespread way. So,
right.
We're having to kind of rethink and re-strategize how we respond, both as a community and as Islamic Relief. The reality is that this has now happened. This is not I don't believe that this is going to be a one-off event. We very may see more severe winter storms in the future, and so we're going to have to prepare for that.
All right, and just for the people who are tuning in, I see a brother for Bren. He's asking for some direct assistance through Islamic Relief. I would tell you, please contact us. Go to our website, and there's ways that you can contact us. As someone in New York who's looking to be in touch with Islamic Relief, so please do just that. You have our good friend Abdullah Mu'min saying thank you, IRUSA, for bringing this awareness. A lot of people, and it's good to have this kind of eyewitness account to know what's happening on the ground. Also, a long-time supporter, and always our sister Wafat, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah to you. And I didn't know this, and she's even herself, she said she has family in Houston who are cold, who don't have access to clean water and the like. So we have you guys in our dua, and hopefully maybe they can take benefit from some of the communities that we are supporting down there with this. Also, I don't know who this is, but Halal Digest just giving Sanems and a food review. Salams to you guys, and just also saying to you guys, Jazakallah khair, and keep up the great work. Now, Abdullah, can you tell me what are some of the phases that, like, I mean, like, again, you guys are the disaster response team. You're on call to answer these type of issues. So, what are the phases of, you talked a little bit about what people are going through, and I don't know if you guys have any other direct stories of people that's telling me, like, I had this many people. If you can share that, but also I want to know that. This is the story on the ground of what's happening now. What is the Islamic relief response? Because that's what people really want to know about. Like, what is IR doing?
Yeah. So when it comes to disasters, there's what's known in the disaster world as the disaster cycle, and so when it comes to whenever a disaster happens, if it's this winter storm, if it's a tornado or whatever, there's the response phase, and that's what people always see on TV, all the shelters opening up and people running out and doing cleanup and all that kind of stuff. That's the immediate needs assistance, known as response, which IR is involved in right now, by providing financial assistance to these masajid and these community centers that are out there. They're the foot soldiers. They're out there doing the work right now. So whether it's providing hot meals, opening their facilities up as warming centers, or whatever other services they're providing to the community, IR is responding and providing financial assistance to help support those programs. I think to the tune of about $30,000 right now, as an immediate response to the disaster. Beyond that,
and that's great, and I would say that's great too, because like you said, the communities are kind of dug in. They have their networks of people that they know who are in desperate need, who are already on their zakat lists in the community, who need, even though this winter storm is now, again, it's everyone's gripped by it, but being able to strengthen the communities so they can respond to, like, this is even better than just like a bunch of IR shirts parachuting in, stuff like this, but working with those local communities so they can answer. So what's the phase after that once you get those guys that assistance?
So, absolutely, and you're right, and it's these local organizations that know their communities better than we could ever hope to do so. So that's why we work through this model, because they know where the greatest need is. Instead of us having to go to figure it out. So beyond the response phase, then there's what's known as the recovery phase, and that's kind of the long-term response stuff. With the winter storm like this, I don't know what recovery would look like, but typically recovery means after the tornado, after the flood, right, after people have been essentially rescued and have found temporary living alternatives. Then the recovery phase is where you have volunteers going in and actually rebuilding homes and collecting or providing new appliances or new clothes and bedding and things like getting people back into their normal lives, their normal routines. Right. For us here at Islamic Relief, we intend, inshallah, to provide financial cash card assistance, again, through our partners who are doing casework to individuals who are really suffering, and part of that is going to be providing cash cards, whether it's going to be to pay for alternative housing for the time being while they're if they still don't have power or water, or if there's being repairs being done to their homes. Many folks have lost all their food because the electricity has been cut off for so long. All the food is spoiled in the fridge, and so they're going to need to replenish their refrigerators and we can go in and provide that kind of assistance. And then what we intend to do as an organization is again, we recognize that this is something that has now happened and we need to be better prepared for it.
Right.
So, right now, the masajid have stepped up and they're able to do what they can. But what if the masajid didn't have power? Then what do you do? What if So we want to empower these masajid, these local community organizations, to be better equipped to respond for the next inevitable disaster. And so we're looking to, inshallah, in the coming weeks and months, is to provide financial grants to these facilities to be able to purchase generators, so that, again, for the inevitability of the power going down, that the masajid could at least operate as some type of refuge space, whether it's a warming center, an overnight shelter, whatever it may be. We want the Muslim community to be equipped to be able to serve the general community. And again, as Azhar mentioned, they're assisting Muslims, non-Muslims, anybody in need in the community right now. We're all in this together, and so we want our institutions and our organizations to be better equipped to handle the next.
SubhanAllah. And Azhar, I mean, like as you say, I mean, I know Azhar, I can imagine you're in touch with other faith groups and seeing this great outpouring from all people. This is just the nature of the faith community answering the call to this type of thing, right?
Absolutely. In our school days, Naeem, we were taught this very famous phrase: "A friend in need is the friend indeed." And I believe people will remember us for a very long time for responding so swiftly, so quickly at the time of their need. I am in direct touch with board members and presidents of at least a dozen Islamic centers and organizations who are receiving small grants and support from us in phase one, as Shauki explained. And they were so overwhelmed to hear that here is a national organization who proactively is reaching out to those communities, those organizations who are working on the ground, providing needed assistance in this very difficult, critical time. And to get financial assistance support means so much to all of these organizations. So definitely, they are very supportive, very appreciative. They expressed their deepest thanks and gratitude to the leadership of Islamic Relief. They thanked all our staff and volunteers who are sometimes taking huge risks. If you come to Dallas, you will find that people can hardly drive on the roads because everything is icy. You have snow and it's very dangerous to drive. So in this difficult weather condition, people are taking huge risks to provide assistance and relief to those who are in need. So they truly appreciate, and they do raise their hands and make du'as for us. And it also makes us realize how appreciative we are, even though the situation is difficult. But for a short time, it reminds us of all our brothers and sisters around the world who sometimes go through this kind of situations for a very, very long period of time, whether it's in Palestine or Syria or Yemen or Bangladesh or India, Pakistan. People go through hardships on a regular basis. So this is making everybody realize and trying to sympathize with all those who go through this kind of difficult time throughout the year. So we're extremely appreciative. We are very optimistic that inshallah in the coming few days things will get better, and inshallah we'll be able to provide more needed assistance at that time, and we'll accelerate our services once things get even better.
Excellent. And just for a reminder for all you guys, this is exactly what they're saying. Just reminding you guys what we're doing here. We're talking about the deep freeze, what's happening, winter's grip, just to show the video once again. So again, for those who are just joining us, guys, we're talking about Islamic Relief's response to what they're calling the deep freeze that's happening in Texas right now. And I think, and as we've talked in our community, like because of how widespread this thing is becoming, just being open to possibly needing to deploy in other places and to work with communities in other places who aren't prepared for this. Like we were saying before, we're talking about a community that, and as people were explaining to me, snow isn't uncommon. Like snow comes to Dallas, but then the next day it's going to be 50 degrees or it's going to rain, and then it's going to be washed away, and then you're on to whatever. But we're talking about the snow and ice come, and then the temperatures don't change, but just holding on to that. So not having excuse me, access to the plows and the salting facilities that we have up here in the Northeast America, and also just like two people's homes aren't situated, or aren't people like in the East Coast. We prep our homes for winter. We're turning water off so the pipes don't burst, and we're doing all these different things, and we've insulated in a certain kind of way that that makes it so that we don't have these issues. But so I mean, we're starting to come to a close. What things would you tell people? What can our community be doing? Abdullah, what should they be doing right now? The people are at home watching this, or they're hearing about this on the news, and I think people are just kind of like, what do you feel that people could be doing to be a part of this effort with Islamic Relief?
Well, first and foremost, dua is extremely powerful and important and needed at this time. If I could just share, a quick story. Yesterday, while I was out in the field, helping to distribute blankets and just bottles of water to families in need at an apartment complex where, again, this was through Ma'ruf and through their client network. We met a lot of Rohingya refugees who were at this apartment complex, who have been without power, or who were without power for over 48 hours, and they were without water for more than 24 hours because of the situation. And if that wasn't heartbreaking enough, seeing people come out by the hundreds and standing in line for 2-3 hours sometimes, just to get bottles of water, just to get a blanket. And by blanket, I mean a couch throw, because that's all that we could muster to find. Was heartbreaking. But then you see these folks are coming out, and they don't have thick winter jackets. They don't have, the hunter boots or whatever. They're coming out in flip-flops, and they're waiting out in this cold. And I remember a young boy, because I won't forget him, because of how sweet he was, and also because his name, a young Rohingya boy by the name of Anwar. Yeah, he was 12 years old, and he's basically the man of the house. His dad is still overseas, and he stood out in this line for a few hours to get 2 cases of water and like 3 blankets. And that kind of stuff stands out to me, and so and it's really, really heartbreaking. So please, number one, please keep everyone in your dua, especially those who are most vulnerable right now. I can share some good news at this apartment complex. Alhamdulillah, they had their power restored last night, and it's been on since. So that's some good news. But again, the need is great there. And so what can you do beyond just a dua? You've got that link right down there, Naeem. Visit the IRUSA page, and immediately on the landing site, you'll see the button there to click and support the U.S. deep freeze emergency. Please go on there, donate, support Islamic Relief's efforts. Again, we're directly on the ground right now, supporting those who are most vulnerable during this unprecedented time.
All right. And for you, Azhar, the closing words to families, and one, I'll tell you a couple of messages from people too. You had some from Islamic Relief, Italy, saying, "Thanks a lot for all the work, Sister Nadia. It's so trying times. Like, my heart goes out to her. She's saying, like, yesterday, my daughter lived on chips yesterday with no heat or power." And saying it feels like we're in the developing world now, like with and as we are we seeing these scenes. Any closing words, other maybe assurance to people that you can give to as we're going through these trying times?
No, absolutely, Naeem. I would also reiterate and ask people to do 3 things. Keep us in your duas, especially our staff and volunteers who are always, in the front lines providing the needed assistance. Number 2, I would urge all those who can volunteer to go online at irusa.org, sign up as volunteers, and help us whenever such a situation and the need arises. And number 3, financially support the important work of Islamic Relief. I don't have to basically remind you, because you all know the theological religious significance. 150 times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the glorious Quran has emphasized and asked us to spend in His path. And this kind of work is extremely rewarding, extremely satisfying. It gives you immense amount of contentment. So whatever you can, please do go online at irusa.org and give generously so that Islamic Relief can work on your behalf and provide the needed assistance to all those who are facing this kind of challenges, who are going through difficult situations, and together we can bring a smile and bring the relief into their lives.
Excellent.
So with that being said, Naeem, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Brother Azhar. Also, someone was just saying they just put there, and they said, Assalamu alaikum, this is Noor. I tried to search on your webpage today so I can donate specifically for the Texas relief. I couldn't find it. Would appreciate some help on it, inshallah. Please, Sister Noor, please go to irusa.org. There should be a link there for the deep freeze and the fund that you're donating towards would be our humanitarian. It's like a USA humanitarian fund. That's where when our the emergency funds that we use for this will go from that account and that fund. So you'll see that. I think it's probably the prime one when you even go to just a donate page. I think it'll be at the top of the page now because it was an emergency launch. We're taking this as serious as emergencies that we respond to around the world. And really hope, inshallah, the assistance goes there directly. Someone else is just applauding the good works. It's not let me add. This is from our friends and what's I would say foot soldiers of the organization who help those in need. The U.S. is not immune to what's happening overseas. Exactly. This is something. I mean, people are in need whether they're here at home or around the world. So it's so great that the community and the people who are watching this are seeing this and realizing it, and that these are just reminders to us all. And I don't know, like many members of us say, it doesn't take much for us to be on the other side, to be on that other side, receiving that. Like you said, Abdullah Shoki, one day he was getting a blanket, the next day he was wishing he was receiving a blanket. So it's that simple. So we want to always be thankful for all that Allah has given us, and also continue to spend, continue to give. Please visit us at irusa.org. Thank you guys both for being there. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like Abdullah had one more point, and then I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, just one last point, because really, I gotta give a shout out to Sister Wafat, who is a longtime supporter and listener.
She's directing people to
find. And she's saying my daughter's living on chips. Like right. She's going through it, and she's still on the podcast, on the stream, watching, supporting us. It's incredible. So big shout out to Sister Wafat, and again, big shout out to all the volunteers that did come out yesterday that has assisted us. They literally put their lives at risk by driving in the situation, the conditions out there.
And during COVID. And it's during COVID. I mean, we forgot about COVID. We didn't even mention that one. Unfortunately, we didn't. But that's the overarching thing that we're doing this in the middle of this pandemic. So, subhanAllah.
So may Allah reward all of them, and Sister Wafat, may Allah give you patience, and inshallah, most of us are going to get through this in the next day or two. The temperature should get warmer, and then it's just going to be a bunch of cleanup work afterwards. But we certainly please keep us updated, and we'd love to know how we can support, inshallah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys, everyone, for being here with us. Take care. Assalamu alaikum, and keep the faith.
Alaikum assalam.